So what I want you guys to look at is this over here. All right, this part. Number of emails is this axis. Sorry, and then these are the dates of the year. So I'm giving you guys an example of how I would evaluate the health of an art business, an art or photography business. Okay, very quickly. I want to know the number of emails that you have generated, the number of leads you have put into your funnel. This is not Instagram followers. An Instagram follower is not a lead. A Facebook fan is not a lead. An email on your list is a lead. Okay. I'm going to track it over time and I want to see what it looks like, right? So let's say this is you and you go, okay, November I got 30. And then in December I got 50. And then in January I got 50 again. So the business is kind of moving in a better direction and then it's kind of flat right there. And then, oh, we got a dip down to 10. This is like, that is the first sign that everything you did that month made no difference at all. Total waste of time. Okay. And then you figured it out and then it pops up to 75 and then, whoa, you did something great. You got some big curator or something like that. And you got a 500 in April. And then I got the question mark, what's May going to be, right? So out of all of the emails, guys, a percentage, and it's going to be different for everyone, a percentage of them are going to convert into customers. For you, you will have your own conversion rate on that. Now I'm calling it a lead to customer conversion rate, right? So let's assume that is 7%. So I'm showing here in the red, what out of 30 emails, you will create 2.1 customers from that, roughly 2, but just follow with me, right? From 50, you will create 3.5. Now it's important to say that 2.1 is not going to happen right away. Sometimes it might, okay? Sometimes it might. Somebody might buy right on the spot because they've got a need. But whether it's 6 months from now, tomorrow, a year from now, 2 years from now, you will create a percentage of those people will become buyers, all right? So your job, this is the only metric that matters, is to fill up this funnel, right? You're putting your emails and leads into the funnel and a percentage will come out as sales. So in your case, Mark, you're building them, they're telling you they like your work, and all you have to do is get more of them and spend 99% of your time doing that. And that's the tactic that I'm telling you. It will help you do this. It will help. It's the specific pandemic lead generation tactic that we came up with that we're having everybody do because you can't get out and about. But whether, outside of the pandemic, doing shows and all the different things that I've talked about in the past and the lead generation list that we have in the marketing resource vault, they're all there to try to get you guys to do things, to focus on this 95% of your time. Okay. Now, if you guys can you guys see down here? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is scenario A and scenario B. And Pat, you're going to love this most of all, because this is the reason why Patrick and I are telling you. Ben, this applies to you as well. I'm getting into the statistics of this. So in scenario A, you might sit here and go, you know what? I'm going to tinker with I got media types. I got wall preview images. I've got, this and that. And you're going to spend hours doing these different changes or thinking about them and plotting them and asking us about them and all that stuff. And it might add up to, I don't even know, 10 hours, how much mind share it's adding up to. So let's say you're able to increase that 7% to 8%. That's actually really good in the marketing conversion world. That's a 15% improvement, okay? So if you take 50 leads that you got emails and you got an 8% conversion instead of a 7%, you would have created, instead of 3.5 customers, 4.
So in Ben's case, because he changed the office to a better image in the wall preview tool, he raised his conversion rate by 1%, let's say. Or because Gary and Pat put the audio in the post, they raised the conversion rate 1%. Now go.
Right, exactly. And I want to tell you guys, as very experienced marketers that Patrick and I are, we've literally been doing conversion optimization for 20 years. 20 years tinkering with sites, changing buttons from red to black and measuring the difference. It's called A/B testing. We know this more than anyone. And it is very hard to make those things happen. Most of the time, it gets worse. You actually make it worse. You do things that are not tested. They're not fully functional on all the browsers and phones and all these different things. You're not paying attention to it. and you do something that changes the construction that we put together that we know that works, that brings people to a close, right? So you can see that if you spend 10 hours, 20 hours, 100 hours on it, you completely waste your time. All you got was 0.5 more customers, right? And instead, in scenario B, so this is one person spends their entire February, that's this guy right here, spends this entire February trying to do that. And instead of getting 50, it drops down to 10. But we're using 50 as an example here, right? Now, the other guy who's listening to what I'm saying goes, you know what? I'm going to shut my computer off, or I'm going to my website off, like my art store. I'm not going to log in. I'm just going to go and follow this playbook, and I'm going to contact hundreds of curators. I'm going to cold email 20 interior designers a day. I'm going to email 20 restaurants or call them. I'm going to look at every show I can do. I'm now speaking outside of the pandemic, but I want you to realize how much you guys can do, right? And that's what you got to be thinking about. You got to be thinking about every idea to drive this number up, because that guy who does that, that's me. That's me. That's what I am doing, and that's what Patrick is doing every month. That's all we're trying to do, right? He gets 200. 200 is not even that big of a number, right? It's a good number, though. He gets 200, doesn't mess with his website at all, and he creates 14 new customers. 14. And all he got was the difference of 100 emails. That's it, right? And so he didn't have to spend his time on anything else, and that's what he did. And so if you do this all the time, it will compound like you can't even believe, right? And so it's so important to spend your time doing this and not this. And 95% of Art Storefronts members are spending their time on this, and they're coming in with these questions, right? They're all the time. And it's that, and I literally drew this just because I'm like, how do I teach everybody to get past this? You know, because Mark, it's not just, it's everybody, right? It's everybody. And it's the most important lesson that I can teach you guys as a very experienced business owner and an entrepreneur, to focus on the right metric mentally, because what you focus on mentally is going to determine your thoughts and your actions. And I want you thinking on, when you're thinking about your business, I don't want you thinking, you know, like if I could just change that one media type or that wall preview, maybe that's it. I want you to be thinking like, how am I going to get 100 emails this week? What, and like, get a yellow pad or however you take notes and write down 20 ideas to get that done, and use our resources to get that done. Because the idea list, even if we can't do a lot of those ideas that are on the idea list that we have in the marketing resource vault, it will give you inspiration for how to think creatively to how to get this stuff done. But ultimately, if you want to have a great business, this is how you do it. Pass this to all your friends. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. This is an abstraction of what a business needs to do to succeed. Okay? And that's it. If I could get you guys to just spend 99% of your time on these blue numbers, right? On this and on this scenario, and be this person, the rest will take care of itself. You won't even know what to do with yourself.
I would follow up and say, for the month, I just looked, okay, for the month of April, 114,000 people came to Art Storefronts. Okay, that's what our traffic is telling me that came in the month of April. I just looked. If you go to Art Storefronts and you look, we have a blog and we have an old website. On that old website, the design hasn't changed in like 5 years, maybe 6 years, 7 years. Why would we possibly be doing that? Why the heck wouldn't we change that? Why wouldn't we update that design and make ourselves look cooler? Because it's making no material impact to the bottom line of this business. And we're not here to look cool. You guys aren't here to look cool. It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. You want success. You want to sell more of your art. And to do that, you got to stay laser focused on the things that matter. And you know, a wall preview image, I get it. I get that those things are old and mundane, but it's not going to, it's no different than our old and mundane looking main site. We know it is. It doesn't matter. It's not the most important thing. So the most important thing is to continue to increase the traffic and stay at it. You're going to fall asleep. You're going to wake up. You're going to have a little bit more gray hair. It's going to be 5 years later, and you're going to have a seriously viable business. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, and another way to look at this, or another important point on it to really get it in your mind, is when you're spending time right here on the conversion optimization, you're spending time at the very bottom of the funnel right here, right? And at the very bottom of the funnel is the least amount of people. So like, let's say you might only have 5 people down here that are lingering down there, right? It's the least amount of impact that your time can have. Whereas when you do things up here on the cold, you're spending time to impact hundreds, if not thousands of people, right? So when you apply your time at that, you're going to be able to get results like this, and you'll get way more down here. So the return on investment on your time at the very bottom of your sales funnel, any type of task or idea that you have that is focused down here just doesn't matter. I'll give you guys an example. There's a debate internally at Art Storefronts. Should we change our button from request a demo to get started, right? And we killed that project because it's one of these, and we know it. It's taking our marketing team and it's completely deviating the focus on, no, we need to be fishing in more and more ponds. We need to increase the size of those ponds. That's how the business changes. If you get everybody focused on things like this, you could do them all day long. We could do them all day on our blog and on our website, all day long. We could go down a list that would be, a crazy long list of potential conversion optimizations, but we don't bother because we know that if we work on the top, then that will literally be like, 10 or 20x the results of doing anything here. So there's no point. You have to ask yourself that question every time.